Hello there, and welcome back to a Star Wars story. Today we're looking at a hands-off impression of Star Wars Outlaws. This is official gameplay. Of course, in this game you follow along Kay Vess. She's an emerging scoundrel seeking freedom and the means to start a new life aboard her ship, the Trailblazer, along with her adorable companion, Nix, who is played by D. Bradley Baker. For those of you who may not know, D. Bradley Baker is the iconic voice behind all of the clones in the animated series. He is also the voice of Appa and Momo in Avatar: The Last Airbender, and he is the Gravemind in the Halo series. And he has a career that goes far, far beyond that. So immediately my first thought in seeing the opening of this trailer, we need immediately in the Vintage Collection, which is the 3 3/4 Star Wars toy line, we need Kay Vess and her little companion, Nix. That needs to be in a deluxe pack. We need those immediately. I also would like the Trailblazer, but we'll see what happens. Oh, look, an A-Wing being worked on. You know, the A-Wing is one of my favorite ships. It was introduced in Return of the Jedi. And, I mean, I got to tell you, Return of the Jedi had some of the best ships. Just in design and just in introductions. Beautiful, beautiful ship design. I loved it, and I love that battle at the end of Return of the Jedi. So, again, we see that she can send Nix to distract and to do various things, which is really cool. Again, it reminds me of BD9, which is, honestly, if you're going to lovingly steal, because again, it is lovingly stealing, you know, hey, take the best ideas and have it Star Wars with a companion. That's kind of that's it. I mean, Luke, you always think of R2. Anakin, you think of R2. Han and Chewbacca, obviously. Again, I'm not selling Chewbacca short. He's probably smarter than Han in some cases. So, oh look, a land speeder. Anyway, bunch of land speeders. I would like to take those. They're speaking in Hutsy, which I think is awesome. I love seeing that. I love seeing the aliens, you know, use alien dialect. Performances are great. I love the gun combat. I love the gunplay. Again, Jedi Survivor is fulfilling the ideas of, you know, being that Jedi in Star Wars, even though it's at a different timeline. I would like to be a Jedi in other timelines. I'd like to see, you know, other games still explore being a Jedi. But in terms of being a scoundrel in Star Wars, I don't think there's a better period. Oh, look, a TIE fighter. I don't think there is a better time period than the original trilogy, especially just before the assassination of Jabba the Hutt. So all the major players are here, except for Han Solo. He is, of course, you know, frozen in carbonite. But all of the major players in the criminal underworld of Star Wars is here. Look at that explosion effect and the blaster effects. Really just, even the sound. I know we don't talk about sound a lot, you know, but sound is immersive and sound has a role to play. And the sound effects just, again, continue to feel like Star Wars. Amazing sound design. And then when she hops on that speeder right here, oh, this got me excited. This is what I want to see. I want large enough worlds in Star Wars games that you can always have a speeder, because it's just, it is a part of Star Wars. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's casually on the land speeder in New Hope or that big chase in Return of the Jedi. It's been there for the entire original trilogy. We need our speeders. They got to be there. And again, one of the best speeder chases in Attack of the Clones. I mean, come on. So we have targeting, we have slowdowns, really immersive effects. Again, really fast-paced action. I know I've talked to some who kind of compare this to the Grand Theft Auto of Star Wars. And again, it's like I was saying at the beginning of the video, if you're going to steal from the best. We have ND5, who is amazing. I think plenty has been said about him already. He's another character where I immediately looked at it and go, okay, he needs to be in TVC, and he needs a soft goods coat. We need that as quickly as possible. I love ND5. He's already become my favorite. I know so little about him. I love how they are repurposing Clone Wars era droids, and that how they're kind of coming into their own independence and finding their own identity while still connecting the full Star Wars universe. We're getting that all together. Look, we got Twi'leks, we got humans, we got R5 units. I mean, it's great to see all of this hanging out together. We got some really cool graffiti. Be on the lookout for some Sabine-inspired graffiti, just saying. Oh, I love seeing all this here. He's got that big scar, which I love the Commando droid design. And in terms of, Ithorians! Again, I'm sorry. I'm really, it's always great to be excited. I love Ithorians. But this is what I mean. It's such a great time period for Star Wars, and the visuals, the film grain effect, like it feels like an 80s movie in the best way. This feels like some special that would have been on the air in the 80s. It feels so appropriate. It works so well. And again, I love that we have Mon Calamari as this kind of gargantuan, disgusting sort of crime lord, of course, making deals with the Imperials. Which, again, it's the underworld in Star Wars. You have plenty of friends in low places. Many people don't know this, but Garth Brooks actually, the song Friends in Low Places was about the cantina on Tatooine. It's great. D. Bradley Baker, the noises he can make, the sound effects, and how he can find these characters and these little creatures, he deserves a great deal of recognition for that because of how he can bring those to life. We also need a Nyx plush. I'm just throwing that out there. My daughter fell in love with the creature design, and she immediately wanted, like, oh, that needs to be a plushie. And I agree. It really does. If it's not, I'll be disappointed. So the comics have covered this ground pretty thoroughly, or at least in my opinion, like they've covered this kind of, this underground, war that's sort of going on, and the hunt for Han Solo and Carbonite, very Shadows of the Empire, but not one-to-one. And it leaves a lot of room to capture and explore that territory, right? Because it's fertile ground in terms of narrative developments that they've kind of been going over. And one of the key characters that I'm curious about is, of course, Kira. And I can't help but wonder if we're finally going to see Kira continued here. We've seen her in the comics, we've seen her covered thoroughly, and to see her, given an additional role in this game, because she fits in perfectly just based off what the comics were doing, which, again, great arc in the comics, really, really well done. So she's going to the Trailblazer. We saw that she's wanted by the Empire. Again, reminds everybody of Grand Theft Auto in space. We see that effect. We can open map. We can take off. And what we're about to see here is, I think, whenever we talked about what Massive was working on, and we always talked about how, space travel and, being able to fly and take off, this was one of the things that we all wanted to see. We didn't know how it was going to be captured. We didn't know how they were going to achieve it, but it's very much so Starfield, No Man's Sky. Again, not to the level of exploration in terms of planets, but to be able to go from the planet and here we are in orbit. This is something that I'm really excited for. I can't believe that we're getting it in a single player game. Now, for those of you who don't know, this isn't the first time you've been able to space travel and get on ground and be characters, in a Star Wars universe. Star Wars Galaxies did it, which is an amazing MMO. There are private servers still available. I play on the Star Wars Galaxies Legends server, me and my family. Again, that is an amazing, amazing game where you can roam around, you can explore planets, you can be a Jedi, a smuggler, anything you want to be, and then you can take off to space. And then, of course, the other one is Star Wars The Old Republic, which was in development at BioWare, and of course that is being moved, and again, that's been covered thoroughly, but it's really exciting to see it done in a single-player game. It's not the first to do it, but it's really exciting to see it done, and to see it done so beautifully. So we got a quick escape. She's jumped to light speed. She escaped the Empire, and now she's in the Akiva system in orbit. And I love the little quest details. I love the classic racetrack Star Wars design. I love that. What's not to love about this? It looks great. And there she is calling. Look at the animation. The design is so well done. And she still managed to get away with one of those. So now he has a little toy. ND9. God. And she says, wherever we want. Flies forward. I also wonder, again, just another comic character, Dr. Aphra. There's a lot that I'm excited to see what they do. There she is on Tatooine, which we know Tatooine's going to be explorable, including the iconic cantina. you even know what's coming the second you hear sound effects. That's what I mean when I'm talking about Star Wars sound effects. I really love. I mean, like even the snow world. I was just cutting. I mean, like there's so much to talk about even within these few. Oh, and then the Imperial base. I love seeing stormtroopers. I don't think there's a more iconic faceless enemy in pop culture. Oh, 2024. That is a long wait. That is a really long wait, but it's one that I am very, very excited to get to. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you always.